additions. We had some additions mid-series. Mystery Gaming was the original team name, has partnered with All Gamers. All Gamers and Mystery Gaming, now Mystery All Gamers, question mark. Trying to make that sound fluid. They have kind of joined forces. The reasoning for this is Coffee did leave Mystery Gaming, so there's no actual roster change. Coffee just left Mystery Gaming, joined All Gamers, and will continue to compete in the league as the two teams have partnered with themselves to allow Coffee to compete. Meanwhile, Weibo Gaming is a restructuring of the team CranKy Gaming. DKZ, CranKy Gaming, was acquired in the lead up to the Esports World Cup, so CranKy Gaming is no longer a team name, it is now Weibo Gaming instead. AKA Weibo Gaming. We're all gamers, exactly. And we have the first matchup, we have a PvZ between Strange and Sue. Now, game 1 is going to be a Dynasty. Now, I believe this clean feed is cut into 2. I believe the clean feed went down in the middle of this game, so the clean feed is going to cut at some point in this game. I'm aware of that, so we're going to be switching from one clean feed to the other. As we have our predictions coming in, interesting predictions. We have 14% in favor of 2-0 for Strange, we have 28% in favor of Sue, and the majority in favor of the 1-1 score. Let's go. Do have that 57% for the 1-1. And I think I was one of the people that did go for the 1-1 score as well, just because Strange and Sue are quite, I would say, comparable in skill. And here we go, we have Strange for Mystery Gaming, and in the top right we have Sue for Weibo Gaming. The weeaboos are here. So I saw someone scurrying in the background. Who was that? Regardless, we are settling in. Getting into our openers here. And getting into our first game of the series. Again, Weibo Gaming consists of players like Sue, consists of players like Jieshi, Hero, and Oliveira. One of the stronger teams in the league. Mystery Gaming have a lot of potential. They have a lot of potential as a team, you know, with Strange, with Lancer, as well as Coffee. They have it in them to cause upsets, but we'll see if they can pull that off. But now Strange opening up Nexus first. Bold move. Bold move here out of Strange. Is going to be going Nexus first. Bit of a greedier build here, but we can get away with that on Dynasty. Can get away with that. Likewise, Sue going for a hatch gas pool, going for the standard base. We spoke about this in the previous series between Solar and Battle B, about the dynamic on Dynasty, how Zurich players will take the goal base later on as a 4th base or as a 5th base. Does mean the Strange can take an economic boost early on. We'll have that economic lead. And we'll see if Sue, or how he approaches this, whether he goes for some earlier roach aggression, or if he has some other way to approach this game and approach Strange. And now we're going to be settling in. To have our 2-gate follow-up, Cybercore now on the way. Bearing in mind it was Nexus first, so the production and the aggression of Strange is going to be a little bit delayed. Oh, as we did mention, the stream did cut for a moment there, the clean feed even, but okay. Going to be able to settle back in. Looks like we only missed out on like 15, maybe 20 seconds. It's okay. So for those who are curious, the clean feed, the way it works is brought to us by the production team of WTL, by SC Boy, but their connection is not the most stable of connections. The reasoning for this is because they're based in China, and to get the clean feed to the other language casters, they have to go through a VPN. They do have to use a VPN, so sometimes it's not the most stable, and sometimes there's some latency issues, or sometimes the clean feed is a little bit dirty, but we're back. So the clean feed did cut, but we are now back. And interesting build, actually, by Strange. Okay, you have my attention. So it was a Nexus first into 2-gate, into a Forge and a Robo. No Twilight Council, if I'm not mistaken. No Twilight Council from Strange, so We're going for what looks to be a heavier tech composition. We're going to be working on +1. This can lead into fast Bay, into fast Colossus, or this can lead into fast Immortal production. I'm leaning towards Immortals for like a Soul Train-esque build. Meanwhile, Su going for a very fast Roach Warren. It's going to be a sub 4-minute Roach Warren at a Su. Now, this doesn't make sense. If we had seen what was going on, again, the fact that we have a Robo Opener does lend towards aggression. But Strange is going for the third. Third base is on the way for Strange. Again, with the Roach Warren this early on, I'm feeling aggression out of Su. Part of me wants to say maybe a more defensive build, but no. We're making Lings. We have 16 Lings on the way. Roaches thereafter. Su is setting up for an all-in. And what will Strange have to defend? We have commenced Immortal production. Immortals have begun. We have a Twilight counter behind this. We won't have Blink. We won't have Charge. Su did make a massive wave of Lings, but is now droning. Okay, so it looks like this early Roach Warren was a safety Roach Warren. Looks like Su was a little bit concerned that it was going to be an aggressive build, like Glaive Adepts, for example, or even DTs. And because of that, Su is playing it safe, and Strange gets away with this. Strange, he's able to get into his third, able to settle in. Lings, they confirm the army of choice. They confirm the Immortal. And Su can't touch the third. We're too well situated. Strange is able to get away with a faster base, able to settle into his economy. Hallucination will confirm the tech. Will confirm that the lair is on the way, that gases have been taken. Strange sees all. And because of the expansion pattern, Su is going for the gold. He's going for the gold as a fourth base. Okay. So the fourth hatchery is on the way. On the other side of the gold. Is looking to expand. And is taking up as well. Initially it was Roaches, but now we have a Hydra Den on the way, so it's going to be Roach, Hydra at a Su. Can lean and lend towards, or head towards Lurker Tech. And head in that direction. Before Lurker Tech, though, I believe that Strange should be pushing out. Again, we're working on a Charge. That is a massive gateway explosion. At 6 gates on the way. I believe that is 8 gates in total. That's a lot of gateways. And Strange will soon move out. Meanwhile, Su building up his own Roach Hydra force. Archons are morphing in. Strange is still building up, waiting for an extra wave of reinforcements, waiting for the Warp Prism. Su does get his gold up and running. But Strange, he's getting ready to break out. Here we go, does catch Lings. He's moving out across the map. Ooh, does bleed off a Zealot. Every unit does count. Hydras are massing. Thankfully, because Su spots the move out, he has the wherewithal to just build up an army to get ready to defend. Oh, but that's a lot of Zealots. Remember, no Bailings. No Bailings, few Roaches. I do want to favor Strange. He's going to be collapsing on the main army. Immortals are a little bit stuck in the back line. And a better concave here with the Hydras. Force fields are thrown down. But we're running out of Zealots. It's going to be close. We need an extra wave. And here comes the extra wave of reinforcements. Zealots, they have warped in. And we break through the Hydras. Su, he's in trouble. The Hydras, they melt before the Zealots. And Strange, he's snowballing out of control. He breaks through the defensive line. Getting to the mineral line. Getting to the drones. And Su is being forced all the way back. He just cannot keep up. Not with this. GG gets called. And Strange takes the first game. GG. A very strong push there from Strange. A very strong timing. Oh my, that's a mug. Jesus. That was like the size of his head. Crazy. But GG, well played. Strange does take the first game. Again, Strange had a very nice start. Remember, Strange went for a greedy Nexus first into a third base off of a Robo Opener, and Su was in the dark. He was playing a little bit blind. If you remember, Su did overreact. Remember, he went for a fast Roach Warren, he went for a fast Lings. Units and production that didn't lead into anything, right? There was no aggression out of Su. It was just a really safe response and an overreaction to what Strange was doing. Strange got away with a greedier start and led into quite an aggressive follow-up. Led into essentially a big 3-base all-in with 8 gateways and charge. And again, Su unfortunately wasn't quite ready for that. He had not the best start to the game, and it led into Roach Hydra, and Hydras are so vulnerable. Hydras are so squishy, they're so vulnerable there. You saw how quickly they melted before those Zealots. Without a more robust Roach force or without Banelings, it's difficult to defend. Difficult to defend against that push. And with that, Strange takes a lead for himself and for his team. Now, I mean, our predictions did lead towards 1-1, and a big reason for this is because loser's pick. Sure, Strange, he had the advantage with Dynasty, but now Su is going to be able to embrace a different map, Post-Youth. Let's go. Post-Youth is up next, and in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Strange for Mystery Gaming. And in the top right, we have Su for Weibo Gaming. Weibito. Drinking water for a jug. It does look like a serving jug. Like it's like a pitcher of water that you would use to like serve other people. Mate, Strange. He hydrates. True. Where's the emote in the chat? Where is it? Like, the reality is, like, it is a jug of water. It's massive. It's huge. But you know what? Maru does the same thing. Except without a jug of water, it's like a 2-liter bottle of water. Like Maru has his bottle. Strange has his jug. If you're in the chat, remember to drink water. Remember. Hydrate, Poppy. Hydrate. Ah. Beautiful. As we are going to be settling in. Now, on a map like Post-Youth, we have a very different dynamic here. Now, there's also a gold base, true. There is also a gold, also a hybrid base, of course, as your natural. But the gold base can be more freely taken as a Zerg player, as your third or as your fourth. Likewise, the bases themselves, the third and fourth, are a little bit more wide open. They're a little bit more exposed as there are multiple angles of attack. Su is going to be embracing Post-Youth, and we'll see what he has to offer here. We'll see how he does approach things. Now, we saw Strange had a very specialized build in the previous game. This time, it was a gate first. It was gateway into Nexus into expand. So a gate expand here from Strange. A safer opener this time. Not as greedy. As a reminder, in game 1, Strange did go Nexus first. Su is going to be prioritizing the gold minerals. We'll main out over. Saturate those gold mineral patches. Then there's Lambo with the Giga bottle too. I think it was Lambo. Potentially Lambo. You have the polar opposite as well. I don't know if you remember, but you have the anti-Maru, which is I almost said Cyan, not Cyan. The Swedish Zerg player, Namshar, that's it. Yo, if you've watched Namshar play, Bappy, Namshar with the 2-liter bottle of Coke, mate. Crazy. The anti-Maru. Just fueled by caffeine and sugar. It's crazy. But I love that we saw that in WTL, and then I think it was Istan that linked us a clip in chat. He linked us a clip on Discord from like 2 years ago in WCS. Well, not WCS, EPT. From the EPT regionals of Namshar doing the same thing. 2-liter of coffee. Oh my god. Calm down. Look after yourselves, Papi. Look after yourselves. Ay. Too much caffeine. But now we're settling in. We do see Strange, interesting, going for a Stargate opener. And Usually if we go for a Stargate opener, if we go for Phoenixes, we make 1 Phoenix. But no, we're doubling down. We have 2, soon to be 3 Phoenixes. Strange, once again, going for a very strange build. Strange is a very unique player in that respect, which is why we appreciate casting him. He does come out with his own builds and his own openers. And with this, he's going to be investing a little bit harder, getting a 4th Phoenix, and going for a Robo follow-up. This is almost like a PvT build. This is like borderline Phoenix Colossus. Phoenixes are amassing, Robo behind this, Forge is on the way. Okay, this should be Phoenix into Immortal Charge Lot again. We should be headed for the same, or in the same direction. Meanwhile, Sue throwing down a 4-minute 30 Baneling Nest. Now, this looks like the beginnings of Ling Bane Hydra. The Baneling Nest is, sure, a little bit earlier, but it feels like a safety Baneling Nest, and because there's no Roach Warren, this can land and lean into Hydra production. Meanwhile, Phoenixes, they dip into the main, they get 2 drones. Immortal production has begun. We have safety sentries, +1 attack, and Sue is droning. So Sue is not going for a Bane bust, but is bleeding out drones in the main. 3 workers go down. Okay, Roach Warren is on the way. Interesting. So Sue is not skipping Roaches. He's not rushing into Hydras. Is going Ling Bane into Roach Ravager. At least it seems to be the case. Sue likewise has drawn up to just under 3 base saturation, but is now remaking workers. Strange going for a bit of a later expansion, but does have an army to hold his own. And will force back the Lings. Once again, we've kind of entered a state where Sue invested into all these Lings and did delay his drone production. So Sue's economy is still it's still kind of ramping up. Likewise, gold is now on the way as the 4th. And there's that bay. I was joking about Phoenix Colossus, but that's kind of what we're getting here, unironically. The bay is finishing up and we're getting soon into Colossus. Okay. Okay, Strange. let him cook, Pappy. Let him cook. He's cooking. Oh, that was quite a big commitment of force fields. Less than ideal here for Strange. Likewise, Sue has drone with 66, and we are stopping drone production here at 66 workers. We may not over, and it looks like Sue is going for a 3-base all-in. We'll see, though. He is making extra workers. I'm curious if he does drone up to 70. Looks like he will. Yeah, more drones on the way. So Sue is going to be saturating the gold. Droning up a little bit further before focusing on his Roach army. Now, I do worry for Sue. It does look like Sue wants to be the aggressor, but I feel like Strange would be at his best defending back at home. Taking more defensive stands, and yeah, here we go. It's going to be Ling Bane Roach Ravager. The army is morphing in. Sue is cutting worker production here at around 70. And is building up quite a force. He is building up his army. Changeling does get shut down. And Sue is going to be the first to max out. The question becomes, does Strange push out, or does he take a more defensive stance and try to weather the storm and absorb the blows here of Sue? Because he's got a massive army. You can see it on the mini-map. That's a lot of Ling Bane for Sue. Is a lot of Ling Bane. Sue, he now gets into his overlords. We are going to be throwing down a massive wall of cannons and shield batteries. Strange is aware of what's going on. He's fully aware of the aggression coming his way. The Strange is getting ready. So 4 cannons, 2 shield batteries on the way. Second robo for double Colossus and eventually double Disruptor production, or even Immortal. Now, if we had Storm, I would still be feeling good about Strange's position, but we don't quite have any Storms available. We have some Archons. And Su is maxed. Su is maxed out. Now, the soup does lie. Even though Su is maxed out, really he's hoping for Strange to move out onto the map. When it comes to fighting Strange back at home, Strange can still defend against this. He can still absorb these attacks. With force fields, with overcharge, with cannons. We can pull this off, but here we go. Su is pushing in. It does collapse on the army. Bailey's rolling on forward. Hallucinations thrown down. Barely any force fields. With the first wave of Bailey's, we go for the mineral line. We're going for the probes, and probes will go down. Not many of them, though. Only 10. And we hold. Yeah, Strange, he does defend. 13 probes fall. And we shut down the Ling Bane. Su has to back up. You can see there, 86 Lings, 36 Banelings went down in that fight. And Strange maintains his economy. I believe he was forced to cancel the base. I didn't quite see if it was a kill or a cancel. But the Nexus did go down. And now we have to do that again. Now what's important here is that the Colossus and the Archon and the Immortal count for the most part was maintained. It was the Gateway army that was cleaned up. Strange looking to break out. Has to be very careful. Is very vulnerable to being surrounded. Again, Su wants Strange to push out. He wants Strange to push onto creep. That is what Su wants. Strange knows that. He knows that. He knows that that's what his opponent wants, so he just skirts around the edge, backs off, doesn't commit. Getting into additional Immortal and Archon production. And more than anything, Strange needs a base. Needs a fourth. Likewise, the site defense was not rebuilt. Oh. Yeah, it was not rebuilt. We're not quite ready for this. Su doesn't commit. Not yet. Pulls away. Does pull away. You can see Strange. He has to set up site defense. Has to set up Sim City, as the fourth base is very wide open, very exposed. Likewise, we are still lacking additional site defense. Su, he's looking for the fights, looking for the main army. And this time he's going to commit. Bailey's rolling forward. Ooh, they crash into the Immortals. Yeah, they take down 2 of those Immortals initially. Yeah, the Immortal count is going to be reset. The Archons and Colossus stand strong. 1 Immortal survives. And Strange once again takes an efficient fight. But he needs to expand. And I believe that was a kill, not a cancel on the Nexus. You need a 4th base. Otherwise, Su, he can keep this going. He can do this all day. See through, threatening a counterattack once again, canceling the base. Canceling the expansion. And Strange can't expand. He's just stuck. He's stuck on 3 bases, and Su from here we can mass expand. I would love to see like fringe hatcheries being taken from this point from Su. As he does keep remaxing. Time and time again. Meanwhile, Su setting up the surround. Finally, the fight he was looking for. He collapses on the Archons, collapses on the Colossus. Strange did overextend. And with that, Su will crash in. Ooh, doesn't find too much success, though. I mean, he caught a good amount of army, but does overextend himself. Strange will be able to expand, and Su has to back off, has to respect this position. Does have to respect it. There we go, just more Ling Bane on the way. You can see Strange, he's running out of resources, running out of economy. Do need another base. There we go, the main out over towards the gold. And Su once again is remaxed. And you can see just how difficult it is to take a 4th base on this map. Especially once your opponent has map control. Su building up once again. At certain points, there were some questionable fights for Su, but overall, like, as long as we're able to contain our opponent, that's all that matters. Link Bane rolling in once again. Link Bane rolls in. We're getting on top of the Nexus. The Colossus do stand strong, but it looks like we will bring down the base. We force another cancel. That's all that matters. That's all we need. We cancel the Nexus, and the question becomes, have we poked the bear? Is Strange forced into an all-in? I mean, we'd have 4 Colossus, but alas, we're only clearing creep. Creep is receding. Goal base on the way. Did I say the creep was receding? Never mind. Strange, he's so quick to rebuild. He's already here establishing his creep once again. Well, Su's so quick to rebuild. Strange has to back off. Su remaxed. Got his line of tumors, has double expanded. And here we go, Su once again. The goal, as it's always been throughout most of this game, deny the 4th. Deny the 4th. So we do have another wave of Link Bane. Strange pushing forward with 5 Colossus. Oh my god, that's a lot of Colossus. 5 Colossus moving out. Banelings, they crash on in. 1 Colossus falls, and we're getting on top of the army. This time with a much more robust Roach Ravager force. Oh, we do have to back off. Strange, forcing it back. Do need more Link Bane. And Su in a bit of trouble here. Finally, Strange moving out across the map. He's had enough defending. He wants to attack. Lings are amassing, but it looks like we will get on top of the base. The hatchery will fall. And can Strange reinforce? Can he keep this going? The Lings from behind. Yeah, we collapse in from behind. We take down one of the Colossus. Banelings rolling in as well. And Colossus are going down. There's still 1 left. But we're running out of army here. We have 2 Immortals and 1 Colossus. And with the reinforcements, Su will shut this down. He will clean up the army. He saves the base. The base survives. Does save the hatchery. In the process, we'll lose 14 workers. But hey, Strange finally expands and finally gets his gold. Was it worth it? I mean, the problem is that we lost all of our river units. We lost the entire high-tech army. The Immortals, the Archons, the Colossus. And that means that Strange, he doesn't really have a way to reinforce. Not anymore. Banelings are rolling in. The economy. The mineral line. We don't get into the mineral line. Well, we do get into the mineral line. We do get the probes. We get them nonetheless. 8 probes go down. And so many zealots. Still an efficient trade for Su. And Strange, he's on his last legs. Like, sure, he finally gets the gold, but it's too late. At this point, it's far too late. Or at least we needed a standing army, and we just don't really have one. Not anymore. Su is building up once again. And Strange is struggling. Attempting to take another base, another expansion. Su is working towards Ultra Tech. Ultra Cavern is done. Ultra upgrades are on the way. Getting to 3-3. And Kindness Plating. With that, we just have to settle on down. remax and roll in once again. And this time, the maxed out army from Su should be too much to handle. It should be just an overwhelming force. You have the one Colossus in the back line. That's a kill, not a cancel on the Nexus. Nexus does fall. Once again, the name of the game for Su has to be to deny the fresh mining base. Strange moving out. Does move out across the map, but Su is just going to collapse on top of the army. GG gets called, and Su will tap the series 1-1 and does fight back for himself and for his team. GG. GG, well played. Su does bounce back here. Again, game 1 was brutal on Dynasty, did go in favor of Strange, but Su able to whip it out here on Post Youth, able to fight back and give his team a chance at redemption. And we're getting ready for our next series. It's going to be a PvP between Lancer and Jieshi. Let's go. Lancer and Jieshi coming up next. For those that are curious, Lancer is Cyan. Cyan did go for an ID change. He has officially name changed to Lancer instead, in solidarity with Oliveira. For those who don't know, when Oliveira name changed, so did most of the Chinese scene. I should emphasize, it wasn't when Oliveira name changed, it was when Oliveira had his I Am Katowice run. Because Oliveira became the world champion after changing his name from Time to Oliveira, the rest of the Chinese scene followed suit, in kind of like a moment of solidarity. We had a lot of name changes in the Chinese scene and a lot of love, of course, for Oliveira. And from my understanding, Cyan's name change was after Oliveira's run in DreamHack. Oliveira, he had an amazing performance in DreamHack Dallas. Oliveira did prove to be a top-tier player. He posed the greatest threat to Serral, more so than Maru even. I would say that it wasn't even Oliveira versus Serral. Oliveira versus Reynor and Oliveira versus Serral were really, really good matches, and I would say the best matches of the playoffs. Just some amazing StarCraft was played, and even though Oliveira didn't win, even though Oliveira didn't claim the championship spot at DreamHack, he, I feel like, gained a lot of respect from people and a lot of love, of course, from the Chinese scene. And yeah, Cyan, as a result, has name changed. Is now no longer Cyan, is Lancer. I do think that when it comes to the Chinese Protoss players, I would say maybe Firefly #1, followed by Lancer, followed by Jieshi. So we have a little bit more people having faith in Lancer. But a lot's going for the 1-1. If I remember, I think I also went for the 1-1 score here. I can't recall. Let me double check. What did I predict? Let's have a look. I'm checking the Discord. As we are jumping into our game and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Lancer for Mystery All Gamers. And in the top left-hand corner, we have Jieshi for Weibo Gaming. What did I go for? I went 1-1. I went for the 1-1 score as well for Cyan and Jieshi. I had a hard time picking between them. I fully understand the logic behind the people that did go for the 2-0 predictions, 100%. It was a hard one to call. And we'll see how we embrace this. As for now, we're going for gate expands. Now, PvPs on Amphion are very unique. In the sense that there's a ramp coming into the natural, so economic openers are favored on this map. We very rarely see 2 gate openers, so it should be a gateway towards an expansion. I say towards an expansion, we could be greedier or a little bit safer. If we take a second gas, it's going to be a faster tech structure first, usually a Stargate before Nexus. As we can see, both Lancer and Jieshi are staying on 1 gas. This tells us that both players intend to expand. They intend to go for a bit of a greedier opener. And that is why these pro blocks, these pylon blocks, are that much more effective. Both Lancer and Jieshi, they're in each other's faces. They're trying to delay the expansions for as long as possible to disrupt the opener of the opposing player. Again, these pylon blocks will force out zealots and force inefficiencies out of our opposing player. Ooh, but the Nexus gets thrown down. Jieshi a little bit late. Lancer, because of that, won't have to make a zealot. Does get the expansion. Will bleed out a probe. Jieshi at least a bit of a does get a little bit of solace here in killing a worker at least, but yeah, the expansion is going to be delayed as a result. Likewise, I believe Jieshi was forced to make a zealot as well. So a bit of a more economic start here for Lancer. Bit of a stronger start from our blue Protoss. Going to be a Stargate follow-up in towards Oracle production, I imagine. We'll see where this does lead us. Jieshi moving out through the center of the map. I believe has the Zealot with the Adept. No, sorry, double Adept even. Adept does shade in. The wall is not a wall. Oh, the wall is open. We do slip in. Again, as Jieshi was able to throw down that pylon earlier. He does dive into the main base. Probes are going down. Despite Lancer getting the faster expansion, that's 3 probes going down in the main. Very nicely done. Very nice damage. Across the map, instead of the Stargate, we're going for the Robo. Okay, you have my attention. It's going to be a Robo opener here out of Jieshi. Going for additional gateways. Jieshi did get eyes on the Stargate, so we can see the shield battery on the way. Is fully aware that Oracles are in production. The Oracles, they're coming. Well, I should change his name to Kurt Angel. Angle? Who? Oh my god. I just looked it up. An American retired professional wrestler. What's the connection? What is Kurt Angle famous for? Angle? Angel? He's a freestyle wrestler. What does that mean? What is freestyle wrestling? Okay. What's his signature move? The Angle Slam. The Avalanche Angle Slam. What's happening? What's... Oh my god. How do you know this man? Okay, we're settling in. Oh, what am I looking at? What? He was like a wrestler like in the 90s or something. Okay. Well, we're settling in. Again, it was a Robo opener out of Jieshi. We do have the Prism going in towards the main, but there's a Void Ray in position. The Void Ray is here. We focus on the Prism. The Prism will not unload, will be completely shut down. One Adept does slip in, but only the one. That means we can no longer one-shot probes. We do manage to get one worker in the main base. That was a big loss for Jieshi. Lancer does defend. Very solid defense here from our blue Protoss. Jieshi, meanwhile, going to be mining through these minerals, and we'll be taking a third base. We'll be taking this expansion on the left-hand side. I will attempt to, but will be delayed. Good positioning here by Lancer. No naked chokehold. Denied. No, this... Oh my god. I'm not Oliveira. Oliveira has the rear naked chokehold. Oliveira, that's Oliveira's style. It's beautiful. That's different. That's not wrestling. That's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We did our research. We know. We know what Oliveira likes. He likes it, papi. Done all the research. As Jieshi's gonna double down, the first prism was shut down. We have a second prism on the way. Working up towards the Blink Stalkers. Both players are building up, and Jieshi taking up a little bit harder. Interesting. Jieshi not just working on Blink, but working on a Robotics Bay, working towards Disruptors. So it's going to be Blink Stalker Disruptor out of Jieshi, Lancer instead going for a heavy Gateway composition, which means Blink Stalkers and Charge Lots instead. Now, there's a lot of potential with Disruptors, but they take some time to really get going. They do take some time to build up, and until that does really arise, until the Disruptor count gets a little bit higher, Jieshi's going to be vulnerable. Will be vulnerable. Lance is moving out towards the left-hand side. At the same time, we have the Prism to harass on the right. Soliver's music, it is. As here we go, Lancer is pushing in. Does hit the third. Jieshi out of position, no shield battery. No shield battery, no overcharge. Yeah, the overcharge, the prismatic alignment is popped. And we can focus out the Immortal. Lancer is going to be forced back. Has to pull away. Unable to break through, but did claim or did take down the Immortal. At the same time, the War Prism is still poised to go in. And meanwhile, I misspoke. Earlier I said Disruptors were on the way, but that is a Colossus. Skilless, is that you? Oh my god. Okay, so not Disruptor. We're embracing the Colossus instead. Interesting choice here by Jieshi. I mean, considering the army that he's up against, I do enjoy it. I do like it. For those curious, Colossus, they have their place in PvP. Oh my god, as we get a massive stasis in the main. Lancer, calm down. Stasis does pop off. Takes down almost the entire mineral line. But Colossus, they're ideal against gateway units. Kind of like Archons, they can do well against Zealots. They can apply or at least have some consistent splash damage against Stalkers. What they are rough against and what they don't really work too well against is a heavy Robo composition. If Lancer, for example, were to get a read on this and head towards Disruptors, Disruptors would have their way with the Colossus. So Stalker Disruptor is greater and stronger than Stalker Colossus, for example. Stalker Disruptor greater than Stalker Colossus. What I was getting at. But as we can see, Lancer is still embracing just a pure gateway composition. Another stays into the main. This time Jieshi does respond, does react. Lancer moving out on the right hand side. Jieshi is still building up. And we're going for the Robo. Robo's under fire, overcharges pop with the Robo. It's going to go down. A massive pick off. Colossus is revealed. But without that Robo, we only have the two Colossus. There we go, backup Robo on the way. Jieshi expanding, taking a fourth. Cybercore under fire. Last Lancer has to retreat. Has to respect the army. At the same time, Zealot Rumbai does hit the fourth. And very little in position to defend. And Jieshi out of position. Fourth base is going to go down. At the same time, we're going for the Cybercore. And can we get the kill? That's going to be close. And it looks like it does go down. The Cybercore falls at the same time. Jieshi does defend his fourth. Prism slips into the main. And that's a massive Zealot Warp in into the main base. Jieshi having a hard time keeping up. Oh, the Colossus! Overcharged on cooldown, but how we hold the line. Colossus does survive. Zealots into the main. There is a cannon, there's a shield battery, but probes are still going down. Big losses here for Jieshi. But Jieshi recovering, working towards that third Colossus. Keeping up with the army of Lancer. Is moving out. Is moving out across the map. And I spoke about this earlier in a head-to-head fight. I do favor Jieshi's army with those Colossus. The choke point is brutal. Is going to work in favor of Jieshi. We have to be careful. Don't want to get caught out. Lancer does have the concave. Does have the larger force overall. Oh, that third Colossus is at home, though. Yeah, so far not able to reinforce. Is staying at home to defend. That means that the army of Jieshi is that much weaker. Moving in. Oof. Moving on forward. Jieshi pulling back, rebuilding the prism. Prism is on the way. Yeah, Jieshi not gaining any ground. Jieshi misreading the movement. Prism back into the natural. 3 probes going down. At the same time we go for the dive. We focus on 1 and the second Colossus as well. Jieshi caught with his pants down. Expensive losses. Losing both Colossus. Meanwhile, the Prism still wreaking havoc in the bases. Do we get the 3rd Colossus as well? Uh-oh. And 3rd Colossus, never mind, it does come into reinforce. We hold the line. In the main base, Mass Zealots, is getting out of control. Gateways are falling. Another big warp in into the natural. Jieshi just doesn't have enough to defend. He's being overwhelmed. Yeah, things are getting out of hand here. Overcharge is popped. I believe Jieshi has not seen the main army. And just now is aware. The prism finally goes down. Can Jieshi hold on? Lancer forced back. Lancer's being forced back. Jieshi now to 2 Colossus. Getting on top of the army. Lancer warping in 10 zealots at a time. Has been mass expanding. Has a 5th base. Jieshi able to keep up. Keeping up, forcing back the army. At the same time, Zealot counterattack towards the left-hand side. Jieshi out of position. That's 1 Stalker, a cannon, shield battery, and he has to race back. Force the recall. And Lancer's coming back in. Jieshi overreacting. He rotates to send his entire army towards his 4th. And Lancer heads towards the natural. Remember, recall's on cooldown. And Jieshi, do we turn around or do we commit? We're committing. And we're committing to the base trade. Now, when it comes to a head-on fight, I favor Jieshi here with his Colossus. Robo's under fire. Jieshi is supply blocked. Lancer throwing down Robos in his own bay, but it might just be too late. The tech is exposed. Do we have detection? Uh-oh. No shot. If we have no detection, the DTs, they can clean everything up. Mass DT! The robo went down! The robo across the map is going down, and we don't have detection! No shot, no observers, no detection, GG! And Lancer takes the game. Oh my god. Ay, no observers. Players are getting ready, and here we go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have Lancer for Mystery All Gamers. And in the top left, we have Jieshi for Weibo Gaming. WBG. Still, you know, a little bit sad to see the end of DKZ. Like, DragonKaiser Gaming, they've been around for a long time. I mean, they have gone through their own name changes, right? For those that are curious, DragonKaiser Gaming used to be 2 different teams. Used to be Dragon Phoenix Gaming and KaiZ Gaming. And they did come together. They did join forces a year ago, and now they're weeaboos. Now they are anime. They are waifu. Smooch. How the great do fall. As we're sailing into Oceanborn, and this is a much more standard map because there's no ramp leading to the natural. That means 2 gate openers. 2 gate opener from Lancer, 2 gate opener out of Jieshi. Going to be selling in. And with these two gate openers, it can lead to more aggression, can lead into a double Adept opener, double Stalker opener. The standard setup here would be Stalker Sentry, but Lancer, he's looking to spice things up. He already has a lead in the series and he's going for a proxy. He's setting up for what looks to be a one-base all-in. Assuming this is a Robo. Assuming this is a Robo, not a Stargate. A Stargate would signify a more, yeah, there we go, a more economic opener. And there it is, Stargate has been thrown down. So Lancer is not going for the all-in, this is going to be for Oracle Harass. So it's going to be an Oracle Harass, an Oracle opener. The goal here is to get economic damage and to expand behind it. Ooh, but Jieshi, he's on the hunt! He does send the probe out and he is poised to scout the proxy. Let's go. Outside of that, it's going to be double Stalker openers all around. The probe does get eyes on the proxy location. We're fully aware of what's going on. And Stalkers are on the way. Likewise, Lancer also moving out to defend the proxy. This is going to come down to the control, to the micro. Stalker has arrived. Jieshi coming in. And Jieshi does get the first shot off. Jieshi will come out on top. You can see here the trades in favor of the red Protoss will get an extra hit in. And Lancer has to reinforce. Is in a bit of trouble. The Oracle will help. Okay. So we should be able to clean this up. There we go. The Oracle comes in. It cleans up the final Stalker. So an even trade. 2 for 2. But the Oracle is forced to spend its energy. Energy is spent. And that means that Jieshi has time to respond. As Stalker's in position, Oracle gets 2 probes. Not bad. 2 probe kills in the main. It's an okay amount of damage. Jieshi is settling in. Meanwhile, back at home, Lancer going for his own Twilight counts with the blink. Jieshi doing the same. As a reminder, Jieshi, because Jieshi did not invest into a proxy, has a faster expansion, has faster blink, and Jieshi has a lead. And the way for Lancer to fight back is with the Oracle. So far has done some damage, but not enough. Has not been enough. Not yet. Do see the Oracle being active, heads into the natural, gets 2 probes. Oh, gets a 3rd probe. Not bad. 3 probes, that's 5 probe kills so far. For 1 Oracle, that's an okay trade. It's good. Good damage dealt here from Lancer. The Stargate is depowered. We do see Lancer moving out with the Stalkers, hoping to intercept the Stalkers of Jieshi. And can he catch them? It looks like, oh, he barely will miss them. Barely. It's close. Jieshi makes it back home. He has a shield battery, has the overcharge, has force fields as well. Blink will be finishing up faster here for the red Protoss. And Jieshi will be the first to expand and take a 3rd. The base is on the way. Hallucination from Jieshi does confirm that Lancer is missing his 3rd, at least for now. And hello, Proxy Pylon. Lancer does have a pylon set up, but is still expanding. Still taking his 3rd. Blink is finishing off with players. Forge on the way for +1 for Jieshi. Working towards that next step, working towards the mid-game. Now it isn't just about Blink Stalkers, now it's going to be charge lots, upgrades. No investment into Robotech yet, no Disruptors, or Immortals, or Colossus. How about Lancer does have the Stalker lead. Jieshi getting caught out. So far, nice blinks. Does avoid some shots. Shield battery does help support. And Jieshi, despite being down in Stalkers, does defend. Very impressive. Does punish Lancer, takes down a Stalker. Nexus is done, that means we have an overcharge. Overcharge is now available. And Jieshi playing it safe is making not just charge and +1, but getting to his own immortal production as well. Is playing it safe. Is Lancer a rename or just a player I haven't heard of? It is a name. It's a rename. Cyan did name change to Lancer as we do blink in. Shield battery goes down. Lancer once again has an overwhelming Stalker army, is breaking through. The Immortal does come out just in time. And with the help of the Immortal, Jieshi will defend, will force Lancer back. Shield battery was misplaced. And we do dive with the Immortal. Jieshi's in trouble. He has to pull the boys. It's going to bleed out a lot of workers. Nice target firing here on the Stalkers. Stalkers are going down. Jieshi attempting to hold on, but again, he does overextend. Another trade that Jieshi was hoping for. We have another Immortal coming in to reinforce, but the shield battery does finish up. But Lancer, he knows he has momentum. He's so close to breaking the defenses here of Jieshi. So close. Gets extra shots off. Immortal coming in. The base getting low. We have the overcharge. Despite that, we can one-shot the Stalkers. Last Lancer forced back. He's waiting at the overcharge. Jieshi's so close to holding. We need an extra warp in. Okay, we're barely holding. We have a second Immortal coming down, and with a second Immortal, I think we're okay. I think Jieshi has held. It's been a close hold. It's been a very close hold. As Lancer has been able to just cripple the army, but he hasn't really touched the economy. The probe count able to maintain itself. We do see Jieshi taking his own 4th base. Lancer will have the lead when it comes to the 4th base timing. And can we force a cancel? Looks like we can. Jieshi out of position. Oof. As the 4th base is denied. It's being rebuilt. Gateway gets depowered. At the same time, Jieshi going for a massive Zealot counterattack. A bold move here by Jieshi, but we have static defense. We have Zealots back at home as well. And Lancer, he will hold. I like the move here by Jieshi, but alas, wasn't able to get much done. Lancer maintains a worker lead. Depth stays shaded to the main base. Jieshi's getting pulled apart. We do have some Zealots in position. Our probes are going down nonetheless. We have 4 probe kills. Jieshi still has some recovering to do. Still down in workers. So basically what's happening here is that Lancer, he has actually not quite invested to, sorry, I should say Lancer. Jieshi hasn't invested into extra gases. He has no gases at the 3rd, no gases at the natural. Jieshi just heavily reliant here on Zealots to reinforce and to be the main bulk of his army. Meanwhile, Lancer has invested into additional gases, working towards more Blink Stalkers. With a gas-heavy composition. No Archons yet from either player. Lancer is moving out. The Mass Stalker versus the Mass Zealot. And Jieshi has the Concave. It does collapse on in. Zealot's a little bit too far back for Lancer. He's forced to rotate around. Army supplies are quite similar. And +2 does finish up just in time for the fight. +2 does kick in. Lancer still forcing back the army. Zealots are being cleaned up, and now the Immortals are getting on top of the Stalkers. At least trying to. And Lancer taking a supply lead. Rotating around. Lancer maintains a Stalker count, only really bleeding out Zealots. So these have been efficient trades, and Jieshi, he doesn't get eyes on the army, out of position. As Zealots get into the mineral line, probes are going down, and Lancer, he's looking to take this. Game 1 was very close, and Game 1 came down to the lack of detection, but here in Game 2, Lancer, he's been in control. Just been hyper aggressive, giving Jieshi such a hard time expanding and taking, even saturating his third, taking his fourth. So in his face, the Immortals go down. And Lancer, he's looking to snowball out of control, takes down the shield battery. There's barely a standing army. We got 13 probe kills, no mining at the natural. And Lancer does reinforce. And with these Zealots, it looks like he will have enough to break through. I say that. Likewise, Jieshi does reinforce with his own Zealots. Does reinforce, does force back the army. Lancer, he refuses to give up. Refuses to back down. So on point. I'll say do come in. Jieshi does have the defensive advantage. Immortal's on the way. If only we had a shield battery. Like, even with the Immortal, it doesn't matter. We dive on it immediately. The Immortal goes down. The base is under fire. A couple more volleys and it will go down. And yeah, that's what we go. That's what we go for. It's what we focus on. GG gets called, and Lancer will take the series 2-0, and will give Mystery All Gamers a nice lead. GG. GG, well played. Cyan, aka Lancer, with the 2-0. Again, oh my god. A very close game number 1. As a reminder, game 1, Jieshi had the lead. Jieshi had control of the game. He had momentum, but Jieshi did not have any detection. And despite having an overwhelming army, Lancer was able to defend with DTs, was able to snipe the Robo and shut down any form of detection and take the first game. Here in game number 2, Lancer was hyper aggressive with his Stalkers. His third base was delayed, his economy was a little bit later, but Lancer was able to just apply pressure at the third base of his opponent and make sure that Jieshi was never able to really build up an army and build up a defensive position. Was just having a really hard time defending his third base and getting it up and running, and Lancer did maintain control of the game. With that, took the series. GG, well played. It all comes down to Coffee versus Hero, and this is going to be an interesting one. Now, Hero is the best Protoss in the world, I would say. Is the best Protoss in the world. You can make an argument for Max Pack, sure, so you can maybe say Hero, the best offline Protoss player, regardless, is an amazing player in his own right. And he is favored. He's favored to take the series. He's favored to win this and to force the ace match. But Coffee is not one to be taken lightly. Coffee is an animal. He has been popping off as of late and has been just really evolving and getting better and better. Coffee is definitely one that can pose a threat to Hero. And as a reminder, Coffee needs one game. All he needs is one game to claim the series. Can he do it? Can he pull it off? Likewise, Hero has to fight back 2-0 to force the ace match. And we'll see where we're headed. Game 1 is going to be on Golden Aura. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have a Coffee for Mystery All Gamers. And in the bottom right, we have Hero for Weibo Gaming. Here we go. Go. Here we go. As we are going to be settling in. Hero going for his own gate cyber expand. Likewise, Coffee is known for his aggression. Now, if you're maybe a little bit unfamiliar with Coffee, Coffee has been really rising through the ranks of the Asia region. I mean, he's been around for a very long time. Coffee did retire. Back last year, he retired. He stepped away from the game. He was on Invictus Gaming, then stepped away. And it was like a couple of months later, I want to say 3 or 4 months later, Coffee returned. He came back from retirement. He was able to come back to competitive form. And Coffee really did bounce back. He has been threatening Oliveira in the Asia region. Coffee is the number 2 Terran in Asia, or in China, or in the Asia region, Southeast, or the rest of Asia region, really. But it's hard to stand out. It's hard to really stand out with Oliveira right next to you, as Oliveira does have the limelight. but Coffee is still an amazing player in his own right, and did recently bring down Solar. That is a different matchup. That is a TVZ. I'm referring to ESL Asia this week, where Coffee did pop off. He was able to pop off against Solar. But now in a TVP, a very different dynamic. And I expect at some point in this best of 2 a 2-base all-in. I expect some 2-base all-ins, buddy. Let's go. See if we can pull it off. As for now, our Reaper's moving out. It was a double gas opener, double gas into a factory. Sure, I didn't get to see the predictions, what the majority of the predictions were for this series. Actually, can have a gander. Looks like the majority, it was 71% in favor of Hero. I think I myself, yeah, went for 2-0 in favor of Hero. It's hard to bet against it, right? Like, Hero is the heavy favorite. 71% in favor of the 2-0. We'll see if it goes the way of the majority, or if we can pull off an upset. Back at home, Twilight Council opener. Gonna be Twilight Council in towards Blink for Hero. And we'll keep an eye on the gateway count. Meanwhile, Coffee across the map, not going for a 1-base all-in, is going for a factory into CC. Into Command Center. So we are calming things down. There's a second gateway on the way for Hero, so it's going to be 2-gate Blink. Looks to be 2-gate Blink into a third. We'll see if Hero does decide to ramp up the aggression and throw down additional gateways. Meanwhile, Coffee is expanding. And interesting, going to be opening up with some drop play. Cyclone production, Medivacs on the way. Going for a bit of a... I was going to say a Cyclone drop, never mind. We are moving out with the Cyclones, moving out with our Marines. Adepts, they do run into the army, and they're going to be shut down. The first Adept does fall. Hero getting in position. We have our 3 Stalkers. We have our Shield Battery. Yeah, 2-gate Blink into a third base. Hero going for a very greedy build. Very economic. And Coffee is here to knock it down. The lock-ons do connect here with the Stalkers. We do lock them down, and we're going for the Shield Battery. Shield Battery will fall. Coffee doesn't go for the base. He's going for the army instead. Going for the Stalkers. So far, good control out of Hero. Coming back from both angles, from both sides. Blink is done. Third Cyclone has arrived. Good control. We shave away the Marines. Yeah, the Marine count is getting low. We're running out of reinforcements. Going for the pylon. Alas, we won't get it. And it looks like Hero will completely shut this down. He trades out Stalkers. So not a bad trade for Coffee, but again, he was hoping for the third base. He didn't get it. And Hero gets away with this expansion. Next is going to get up and running. That was very committed out of Coffee. And again, he was hoping to either deny or shut down the production, clean up the Stalkers, get into a mineral line, or bring down the third. Alas, he didn't get any of it. It's a bold move there by Coffee. And now he has to back off and work towards his sim timing. Because Coffee lost so much, that means Hero can be greedy. So I love that he's going for the Forge. He's going for the Forge into charge, saturating his bases. He can skip warp-ins. We get some orders out harassing the bases. One probe goes down. We get one worker. Coffee building up. Additional racks is on the way. And I would not be surprised after the initial failed aggression if this goes into a 2-base all-in. Like, there's going to be a decent timing with Stim, Combat Shields, and +1, and I would not be surprised if Coffee pulls the boys with this. It would make a lot of sense. I do think that Coffee is a little bit too far behind to go into a longer, later game, to get into a third TC and into just a greater game. We'll keep an eye on Coffee. Colossus production has begun. We have a gateway explosion for Hero. And we're going for a drop play. Okay. We're going to be moving out with drop play instead. We're not building up towards a push. Coffee at this point may opt to expand. You can see Hero getting in position to scout any kind of drops. We have our pylon set up. The first pylon is going to go down. And Hero's getting ready. Does warp into the main. First pylon falls, going for the second. Coffee going to be pulling back at the same time. Looks like Autotard harass once again. 4 probes go down. Not bad. 4 probes do fall. Coffee reinforces. Does bring his main army together. At the same time, a Hero getting ready to dive into the main. Marauders pushing forward. Can we get on top of the Colossus? The force fields will buy time. And here come the charge loads across the map into the main. Yeah, Zealots into the main. Zealots in towards the natural. SCVs are going down. Coffee does have reinforcements and he does pull back. Pulls everything back home. And will eventually clean this up. Eventually. Yeah, the prism will fall to the Vikings. Mine just not quite connecting. And Hero chasing Coffee all the way back. Bleeds out a medevac. Medevac goes down. Raven under fire. Still no third CC from Coffee. Doesn't get the observer. Second scan there to shut the observer down. Raven likewise gets sniped as well. Disruptors are on the way. I feel like if Coffee wanted to pull the boys, we've missed our timing. At the same time, though, we need another base. Like, Hero is going for a fourth. Not a bad engage. We're collapsing on top of the Colossus. Force fields are on point. Yeah, despite the engagement, despite the pseudo surround from Coffee, it looks like he will get one Colossus. A very messy fight. One Colossus goes down, but that's going to be it. GG gets called. Coffee has nothing left, and Hero takes game number 1. GG, well played. Again, Coffee was so committed early on, he did not do enough damage. Here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have Coffee for Mystery All Gamers. And in the bottom left, we have Hero for Weibo Gaming. Let's go. Looking to embrace Crimson Court. Alright, looking to embrace it. Probe does move out. Just being as annoying as possible. Getting across the map, forcing out a second SCV. Interesting setup. Coffee going for the racks next to the command center. We'll see how many gases we embrace and how aggressive or economic Coffee wants to be. As there it is, going to be a double gas opener out of Coffee. We'll be going for a delayed expansion. Hero is aware. Going for the SCV, getting some hits in. Does pick away at those workers. And we saw the last game that Coffee did go for earlier Cyclone production and went towards a very aggressive Cyclone Marine like push. And there was a lot of potential with that timing. Was a lot of potential. Unable to get enough done with it. Bearing in mind that Hero did go for a more greedy economic build in game 1 and got away with that. It's also why Coffee was in such a rough position in the aftermath. Wasn't able to punish Hero. This time going for a Reaper first. Battery follow-up. And based on the add-on here, based on the reactor, it looks like we're not going for an add-on swap. Our factory finishing, Reaper moves out across the map, and the goal here is to get eyes on the tech of choice, whether it's a Twilight Council, Stargate, or Robo. Now we can see it's going to be a Twilight Council opener from Hero once again, Blink. Blink is on the way, or Blink should be on the horizon. Remember, game 1, Hero went for 2-gate Blink into a faster third, and got away with it. We'll see if Hero once again goes for an economic opener or something more aggressive. We'll keep an eye on that gateway count. Meanwhile, it looks like we're going for Reactor Reaper Hellion, and that is a second Rax on the way. Okay, you have my attention. So we're going for initially Reaper Hellion. The goal here is to have an overwhelming force of Reaper Hellion to get across the map to threaten the mineral lines of Hero and to bust into a mineral line to try to get some economic damage done. Meanwhile, that is a second and a third Rax on the way before Starport. What does this tell us? This tells us that we're working towards a heavy bio composition with fast stim. It means that we're going to be delaying the medevacs, delaying drop play in favor of a more robust army, and this looks like the beginnings of a 2-base all-in. From the side of Coffee. Meanwhile, the Reaper Hellion dives into the main. Adepts are in position. And yeah, we're forced to engage with the Adepts. The Adepts, they shut down the Reapers, they shut down the Hellions, and Hero completely shuts this down. That wasn't quite worth it for Coffee. Yeah, you can see him looking a little bit uncomfortable there on cams. But yeah, not the best trade. This means that Hero can move out. And what is scary is that this means that Hero could potentially scout what Coffee is up to. Speaking of, Coffee building up his tank count, Stim is on the way. And the big tell that we're looking from the side of Coffee as he's now expanding is going to be whether or not he throws out a starport. Now there's a big chance, there's a big option or opportunity here for Coffee to avoid the starport and just pull the boys. You know, we build up towards 3 tanks, big Stim combat shields timing, move out across the map, and pull the boys and just send it. Otherwise, Coffee could opt to expand and throw down a 3rd CC as he moves out across the map. As we do see Hero coming across the map with that hallucination. Marines attempting to deny the scouts, but alas, they won't be able to. Hallucination does get eyes on the Raxes. Sees 1, 2, all 3 Raxes have been spotted. Hero is now fully aware. He's fully aware of the build. He's fully aware that, of course, the starport is missing. The eBay just began. That is the first sign that Coffee is working towards a longer game, as the eBay is to get into, of course, our upgrades. Hero going for the gateway explosion. Coffee is moving out. Meanwhile, do you see what I see? Let's go. We spoke about it. We spoke about how this is the beginning of a 2-base all-in, and boys are being pulled. It's all or nothing for Coffee. The problem is that Hero already knows. Like, he already saw the build. Like, he can piece together that it was a 2-base all-in regardless. Zealots are being warped in. Shield batteries are finishing up. Coffee rotates over. And he's going for the kill. Wedging himself in between the natural and the 3rd. Tank volley's going off. Not a bad position. And he is within range of the pylon. Yeah, big tank volley's going off for the Stalkers. Stalkers are going down. Hero in a bit of trouble. He bleeds off all the Stalkers. We're down to 4. Down to 4 Stalkers. Overcharge is denied. We're still rallying across the map, and can we collapse on the gateway army? Coffee not doing too badly here. But he's taking a little bit too long. Is within range of the 3rd, but I feel like we need more damage. We need to keep on pushing. Charge, let's say, dive on in. Tanks, they focus on the Immortals. They get 1. But the tanks are falling one after the other. All 3 tanks fall. We needed the 2nd Immortal, and we didn't get it. Hero holds. Where were the boys? Wait, where were they? We needed them to help support the tanks. Another tank is on the way. Like, again, Coffee did so well with that push, but just barely fell short. And GG gets called. Hero survives. He defends the all-in. And Hero takes the 2-0. GG, well played. Coffee, he was doing so well with that. He was getting so many shots off on the Stalkers. He shut the Stalkers down. He had 3 tanks in position. But the boys, at least the backup boys arrived a little bit too late. And Coffee could not protect those tanks, could not sustain himself. It was a very close hold. And there's a world out there where Coffee does bring Hero down, but alas, Hero will take the series 2-0. And now we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to Game 7, and the question becomes, what's it going to be? Who are the ace players? Now, I feel like there's an obvious choice for Weibo Gaming. It's going to be Hero, right? Hero must be the ace player. But who's the ace player for Mystery All Gamers? There is a good argument for Cyan or Lancer, right? I would say that arguably Lancer is... it's hard to say. When you think about it, Lancer is a really strong player, don't get me wrong. He's a very strong player. I think Coffee is comparable. I think Coffee is comparable in skill to Lancer, but you have to think about who you're up against, right? If your team Mystery All Gamers, and if you make the assumption that Hero is going to be the ace player, the question isn't who is your strongest player, the question is who is your strongest player against Hero specifically. Right, who has the best chance at sniping Hero? Is it Coffee or is it Lancer? Ace map is going to be Oceanborn. That's another big factor. Oceanborn, if we were to go for a 2-base all-in in a TVP, this is not a bad map for it. If we wanted to go for a proxy in a PvP, also not a bad map for that as well. Now, we have seen Hero fall to Lancer in the past. Lancer, alongside a lot of the Chinese Protoss players, they have taken it to Hero before. So is Coffee. One map is all we need. It's gonna come down to this. It's gonna come down to one game between Weibo Gaming and Mystery All Gamers. Oh boy. Strange is another option. Do I favor Strange over Lancer? I don't think I do. I think I like Lancer's chances more if it's a Protoss player. But Strange is also an option. True. Strange is an option here for Mystery All Gamers. Is an option. We shall see. Again, personally, I'm leaning more towards either Lancer or Coffee. I can see arguments for either player, as our teams are just deliberating amongst themselves, trying to figure out what they want, and it looks like we have our answer. Oh boy. Looks like we have our answer, and the ace players have been chosen. It is going to be Hero, as to be expected, and it is not a Protoss. It is not Lancer. It is Coffee. He wants his revenge. Let's go. He does want his revenge here. Coffee versus Hero. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if Coffee also believes as well that that last game was so close. Like, Coffee was so close to breaking Hero then and there. The all-in was actually working quite well there for Coffee. It just barely fell short. And Coffee may be thinking to himself, like, mate, if I can just tighten things up a little bit more, I can take it. And here we go. We're getting into the next game, into game 3. It's right into the ace match. In the top left, we have Coffee for Mystery All Gamers. In the bottom right, we have Hero for Weibo Gaming. Ace versus ace. Oh boy. And I'm certain that Coffee has some special build plan. Right? We have to be coming in with a plan. No shot we're settling into a normal standard game. No. I mentioned it before. This map is quite prone for favoring all-ins, specifically 2-base all-ins from the side of Terran. So if Coffee wanted to bring out another 2-base all-in, this wouldn't be a bad map for it. The downside of a 2-base all-in here is the fact that we just tried one, right? We just tried a 2-base all-in versus Hero, in the last game, we can't do it again, right? Like Hero, he's already primed for it. He's already ready to defend, like mentally, physically, he's already there. I'm sure Hero is expecting an all-in. So we need to take a different approach. What do you have, Coffee? What do you have? What are we cooking? What are we cooking? As for now, it's going to be a double gas opener. Double gas out of Coffee is going to lead into a faster factory. Now, a one base all-in is not unheard of. We have seen in most recent times Ryung, as well as Oliveira, as well as Byun. A lot of the Korean Terrans, they like to mix in a one base all-in from time to time. Like, when I say from time to time, I mean like once in a tournament. Not even once a series, but like once in an event. Do you hear that? Is that Chinese diva? What? do you hear the voice in the background? Is that diva? Question mark? I don't think I've heard that before. it was very low. It was a very soft voice. I don't know if you heard it. It's either that or the production team left their mic on by accident. It's possible. Here we go. Hero does shade out. Behind this, we can see Coffee going for a 1-1-1. I don't see a CC. There's no command center. I was alluding to a one base all-in earlier, and it looks like Coffee is embracing that. Oh boy. Okay, what hits harder than a two base all-in? A one base all-in, Bobby. Let's go. We have Cyclones on the way. Marines are amassing as well. There is no expansion for the Terran. And the question becomes, do we pull the boys with this? Do we just double down and do we just send it? It's gonna be okay, we do have a command center. Command center's on the way, but this is a very, very late command center. So technically this is not an all-in, it's not a one base all-in, but it is very committed. Very committed build here by Coffee. This needs to get damage done. Trading with the army is not good enough. We need more. The drop is moving out. We have Marines, we have of course our Cyclones. Liberator behind this. So we do have the Liberator going to be joining up with this eventually. As Coffee is dropping in. And going for the Adept, there is a shield battery in position. Overcharge as well. Was a Stargate opener into Phoenix's. Phoenix is not going to be ideal in this position. Coffee in a bit of trouble. Sorry, Hero in a bit of trouble. Coffee's pushing forward. Lock-ons are broken. Shield battery stands strong. And Coffee needs to get more done. Shield battery is taking a lot of hits. Liberator's on the way. Third Cyclone has arrived. The Depth's turning a shade and we go for the lift. We pick up every single Cyclone. The Marines are trying to hold their own. The lift does run out. We do run out of lifts. We focus out the Adepts. Not bad trades here, but the Immortal has arrived. And we're holding the line. Hero, he is holding. He bought enough time for the Immortal. And now Coffee's in a rough position. Coffee in a very rough position. Look at the worker count here. Hero with a massive worker lead. And mules aren't even a factor because they don't even have the orbital. The orbital is not even done, so limited mules here for Coffee. Now, thankfully, Coffee maintains the Cyclones. So, even though Hero has defended, Coffee does still have an army. He still has an army to work with. He can still build up towards another push. But there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure here on Coffee. Shuts down the Adept. The base on the way for Colossus. Third base on the way as well for Hero. And this is very reminiscent of Game 1. Very reminiscent of Golden Aura here between Coffee and Hero. And I have to say the same thing that I said on Golden Aura. Like, if the initial aggression didn't work, then it has to be a 2-base all-in. Like, we have to just double down. Going for a longer macro game is going to be so difficult against a player of the caliber of Hero after failed aggression. Stim is on the way. We have the eBay for +1. You can see Coffee mustering up his army. And again, he retained his Liberators. He retained his tanks. Like, he has potential. Like, there's potential with this push. And let's go. This is what we were lacking in game 1. Do you see what I see? The boys. You can see on the minimap, the boys have been pulled. It's all or nothing. 2 base all in here for Coffee. It is his best chance, his best opportunity to take the game. A long macro game will not work. Not from this position. The Liberators do siege up, zoning away the army. Shield batteries in position. Turrets are on the way. And the boys are here to repair. The boys are here to throw down turrets and to buffer for the army. Buffer for the tanks. As we are slowly encroaching upon the 3rd base, but we might be taking a little bit too long. And here we go. We commit to the dive. Hero takes down 1 lib. 1 Liberator does fall. We're down to 1 Liberator remaining. Overcharge is running out. Tanks getting within range. The tank sieges are... We're taking our time with our tanks. Now we're finally getting within range. Tank volley's going off. Shield battery goes down. Coffee trying to catch reinforcements. Oh, sorry. The Hero trying to catch reinforcements. Coffee's reinforcements pinned back home. Is bleeding out units. And again, have we taken too long? I'm concerned we have. The 3rd base is going to go down. But we have to keep going. Meanwhile, across the map, Hero, he's chasing down the production. Phoenixes came to the production, getting SC1. Not quite SCV kills. There we go. 2 workers go down, just making sure there are no reinforcements. Tanks encroaching upon the army. First tank is going to go down. But we get the Colossus. The Vikings, they go ham. Overcharge is popped, but the Vikings, they're bullying back the Colossus. Phoenixes race back home. And here we go. We pull the boys. It's all or nothing for Hero. Trying to break out. Overcharge doing what they can. Colossus standing strong. The Colossus goes down. But the Immortals on the ground. They do what the Colossus can't. They shut down every single tank. The army crumbles and Coffee has nothing left. The Immortals, they're immortal, Pat. They are immortal. They break out. They break free. Hero, he expands, retaking his 3rd base. And Coffee has very little left here. Lost all of his tanks, lost all of his bio. The Vikings did well for themselves, but there's only so much they could do. And again, Coffee did take his time laying siege upon the 3rd base, and time was of the essence. Time was working against Coffee. It took a little bit too long. 1 tank goes down. 2nd tank goes down. Very nice target firing here at a Hero. Targets on every single unit. GG gets called, and a Hero will take the series. We'll take the match, and we'll win it all. We'll win it all for Weibo Gaming. GG. GG, well played. Hero will take it, but a shout out to Mystery All Gamers because it went all the way to the ace match. It went down to the wire here. Again, Strange and Lancer pulling their weights. I was leaning more towards Lancer as the ace pick, but they had faith in Coffee. And again, Coffee was so close in game 2 versus Hero. Here in game 3, was unable to really pull it off. Like, Hero was doing such a good job at just reading the build, reading the all-in, getting in position. At the same time, Coffee did take a little bit too long laying siege upon the 3rd base. Took a little bit too long for the tanks to actually get on top of the Nexus and encroach upon the army of Hero. Hero was able to buy so much time. And because he bought so much time, we had Immortal after Immortal after Immortal spawn in. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations to Team Vitality and to Weibo Gaming for winning their matches. Congratulations. And with that, I hope everyone in the chat enjoyed themselves. Hope everyone did enjoy. That's from earlier today. That is from ESL Open Cup Americas. But GG, well played. Again, Mystery Gaming did not play too poorly whatsoever, but that is going to be wrapping up this round of WTL. does wrap up the round. And actually, we can have a look at the standings. There we go. We can have a look at the standings here. We have a number 1 spot. Number 1 placed is Team Vitality. Team Vitality is number 1. Weibo Gaming is number 2, followed by Shopify, Basilisk, Team Liquid, and Psystorm Na'Vi. Actually, we can zoom in. There we go. We can zoom in. We have our standings. When it comes to the second half, from 7th ranked onwards, it is Platinum R8, Mystery All Gamers, Twisted Fairy, Berserker Esports, Starlight Twinkle, and Offside Esports as well. Honestly, a lot of these lower teams are quite neck and neck. Like Platinum R8, Mystery All Gamers, and Psystorm Na'Vi are pretty close in their overall rankings and their overall scoreline. Likewise, Twisted Fairy is not too far behind them either. So those teams can still kind of rotate and shuffle between them. Likewise, we can also catch up with Team Liquid as well. Team Vitality, of course, they are the number 1 team in the league. They are still undefeated. And just underneath them, we have Weibo and Shopify. So the teams, they're really starting to stand out and kind of stand out from each other and stand out from the pack. But in the middle, we still have a lot of potential for a lot of these teams. Again, for Mystery Gaming, for Mystery All Gamers to go to the ace match against the 2nd ranked team of the league is impressive. And it bodes well to what they can accomplish and how far they can go against some of these other teams. So I do want to believe here, I wish them the best of luck. For those that are curious, this was round 7 and there are 11 rounds left. 11 rounds remaining here. Oh, sorry. I said 11 rounds left. 11 rounds in total. What I meant to say. 11 rounds in total. So we still have a couple more weeks ahead of us. As a reminder, no WTL this week. This weekend, there is no World Team League. If you're curious, why is there no WTL this weekend? Esports World Cup. The Esports World Cup qualifiers are this weekend instead, and we will be casting the qualifiers here on the channel. We're going to be casting the open qualifiers. The closed qualifiers, I believe, are going to be covered by the mainstream, or by they have like the official broadcasters. So they have you covered for the closed qualifier. We have you covered with the open qualifier. And there's going to be a qualifier for every single region. Let me just quickly double check. Checking our calendar. We have the Korea qualifier on Thursday. We have the Asia qualifier on Friday. The European qualifier as well. Likewise, the Americas qualifier on Saturday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday are the qualifiers for all the regions for Korea, Asia, Europe, and Americas. Meanwhile, not just that, we have KSL on Saturday, we have Sparkling Tuna Cup on Sunday, and we have a Code for Giants Cup tomorrow. Oh boy. We do have that tomorrow as well. So with that, GG, well played. We are going to be wrapping things up. We are going to be wrapping things up here, and yeah, we are going to be calming things down. We're going to be heading off for the time being, going to be heading off for the night, and once we wrap up tomorrow, we're going to be live with Code for Giants Cup. That's going to be in, let me just quickly double check. That's going to be in less than 12 hours. I want to say 10 hours time. In around 10 hours, we're going to be live with a Brazilian bi-weekly tournament. We cast it last week. If you want to tune into some Brazilian action with Eric, Inexorable, Master, Shaq T, and many other lovely Brazilian players, we have you covered in 10 hours time. In 10 hours time, Bob. 10 hours time. We do have you covered. So be sure to tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow with some Brazilian StarCraft. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.